Now, folks, give up your house. How to? Now, if I had my way, I want to make it clear we wouldn't have this migrant problem. They wouldn't be allowed in here. It's quite simple. And but I don't have my way. I'm not in charge. So we have to deal with the real events. I have a windmill farm forced on me here. I have to try and handle it. It's not easy. It's very difficult, very severe, and bad for the health and sleep and all that. But I can't do anything about it for now. It'll take time. It has to be worked on, right? I believe it was best thing is try to prevent it. So I try to help other people to prevent them coming near them. But we have to handle the real situation as it is, as they call it, the real politic. So as a result of you people, most of you people voting for Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil and Sinn Féin, and you're going to do it again, it appears. Maybe you'd have a second thought. If you do, get on to me and I'll help you. We might do some type of a therapy class where you can get therapy to help you wean you off voting for Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil and Sinn Féin and those left-wing parties. But that's up to you. If you don't want to come there, that's all right. And I know people that only death, God, unfortunately, will stop them doing what they have always done. And the Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael politicians know that, and they know that they're not going to lose the vote over this. That seems to be the position. I'm working very hard to change that position. So they have to put these migrants somewhere, and it's only a stone's throw away. Mightn't be before the present election, but after the next election, where they'll push them into the houses of the ordinary people. And this is some of the things you need to remember and you need to look to when that happens. So one model will be to put you out altogether. And I would say to probably use these hostels. You see, the government has invested a lot in hotels and that. With the result, there's nearly no tourist industry. And they could put the Irish people into those. There's one over here at the Oasis on the Carrickmacross to Kingscourt Road, Tracy Hotels. There's a few of them all around. The Dunnery House in Kingscourt has a few. And they're all over the place. There's a few of them in Cavan and all that. So you know where they are yourself. But the thing about it is that one idea would be hump the whole Irish people out of their houses and into those kind of facilities. And that'll be one of the things you'll have to deal with. Now, don't forget, I don't believe in the climate change racket. I think it's a scam. And there's another thing happened in the last few years I don't believe in either. But I have no say in that. That's the way it is. So if you're a climate change buff or a climate change enthusiast, well, they'll tell you this helps climate change because these people are fleeing climate change and they should get your house. That's for you to handle. It's not for me to handle. My job is to tell you what you're facing, right? Now, one of the things that you have in a lot of Arab countries and a lot of Western countries and African countries, a lot of Eastern countries, is oppression of gays. Oppression of homosexuals. And in most Arab countries, homosexuality is banned. And in Uganda recently, they brought out a law giving very severe penalties for homosexuality between men, I think it is. I'm not sure if it's women, but we say it's men. And it's a very severe penalty. There's life imprisonment for sometimes. And America has withdrawn the visa of the president of Uganda, of the minister that did it, or whoever, it's a woman anyway, it has withdrawn it. So you see America trying to impose its will on Uganda through some kind of a sanction of their visas or whatever. This is why there's a move away from reliance on the dollar, because everyone in the world knows America's going to weaponize its dominant position, and everyone's trying to pull down America's dominance, because they're going to do this not only for gays, but also for climate change and a whole host of things. They'll be fined for not having windmills, and they'll be fined for everything, and they know this is coming, and therefore this is the situation. So a lot of the people who come here will be gay men. They'll arrive here saying they're oppressed. And when they come to your house, they'll demand to be kept together. There could be couples, maybe 3 men. You can have 3 men in a gay relationship. And there could be couples, and they'll arrive at your house, and you'll have to provide the right accommodation for them, for sleeping, for eating, for entertainment, for watching stuff on television and all that. And all that goes on among gay people. So you've got to be prepared for that and realize you're going to have to adopt to this some way. Do you understand? I'm not sure how that will be done. There'll be guidelines issued on how to deal with it if you're sharing them in your house, okay? So you're going to have that. Just be aware of that. there'll be a disproportionate amount of gay men arriving, claiming oppression and claiming asylum, and into your house they're going to go. So just be available of that, aware of that. The next thing is all of these people smoke. I see them all over the place. The first thing they want is cigarettes. All of them smoke. So there's no law against smoking in a private house. So you may be prepared to have smoking, chain smoking in your house. So when you're in bed upstairs, the smoke will be coming up in under the door and everything else. So that's the thing. Some do drugs. Now, I don't want to blacken them all. Some do drugs. It's mostly cannabis. You go to flats around Dublin and walk past flats, you can smell the cannabis out the windows on a warm evening there. You go into the flats and into the housing estates, or if you go into even the houses on the north side of Dublin, you can smell, if you go in the door, you want to visit someone, you smell the cannabis straight away. So you're going to have cannabis smoker there, and the guards won't intervene. Maybe the guards are right, you want them in, you voted for them, and that's it. Why should the guards bother? And anyway, the courts can do very little. Drugs are just not enforced the way they were, unless they can get thousands of tons of it. I'm not saying the guards aren't getting an odd fine of it. I don't approve of drugs, but this is the reality, so be aware of that. The next thing is food. A lot of these people like very spicy foods, and they like all this kind of, some of them will be eating animals. I mean, in some countries, dogs are a delicacy, so you will want to watch your dog. You'll want to have a broad agreement with them that they won't kill and eat your dog or cat. Now, not all of these people do. I don't think Africans do it much, but there are some cultures where eating dogs is done, and they actually hang the dogs and hang them slowly to kill them. They reckon it improves the meat. I believe that's terribly cruel. It's not right to do that to an animal, but I have no say. This is just what you're going to be having living with you, okay? The next thing is cars and vans. The men of these cultures, they love cars. They talk about cars, they'll not go electric cars. The first thing they want is to get a second-hand car, an 06D or something like that, diesel or petrol, and have it going. They love the car, they absolutely love the car. One of the things they come here for is the car. Now, when you're into cars and vans, there'll have to be repairs done, and there'll be different things happening, even on my farm. I have a place for repairing my cars. And when you're in that situation, they'll have the cars all around your house and out the back, and they'll be jacking them up, and there'll be oil spills, and there'll be this, that, and the other. You'll just have to get used to it, and they'll be coming in with oily hands, and you'll probably have a lovely ensuite shower and lovely furniture, and eventually your lovely suite will be as black as the pot. And it's hard to avoid that. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. My advice to you is try and get a deal with them that if they're working on machinery, they wear overalls and take them off when they come in. You might get that, and also you could have slippers at the door, because the lovely carpet will get oil on it, so, and all that, and dogs manure and everything like that. But just be aware of that, and try and strike a deal, because the government will just horse them in on you. Try and have an agreement what will happen and what won't. The other thing is music. There are funny tastes of music. Some of the music you get, it's all funny music. Not too bad. I was abroad in Oman about 10 years ago, and they play a lot of that kind of Arab sort of music, and I'm not saying it's so bad, but just be aware of it, that you mightn't be that keen on it for round the clock. It could be wall to wall. It's unlikely that it will be Western type pop music. It's more or less that's other type of music. I won't go into it here. You just be aware that that's what you're going to have. Now, of course, if you have couples, men and women, or any couples, you can have rows, and domestic rows the same as you can anywhere else. And there will be domestic rows, and I won't tell you how to handle that. Nevertheless, if somebody pulls a big knife and goes to stab somebody, you're obliged in law to try and intervene. How you do that, I don't know. Are you going to resort to weapons? But if you're an old lady, you're hardly going to do that. You just have to work this out. And there will be a danger of yourself if you get intervene in a row and there's drugs and drink. There is a danger that you could end up like those kids in France that were stabbed the other day. This is all a risk you take. It's a risk we all take. I have no say in it. I'm merely telling you the facts. How could you prevent this? Well, you could immediately resign from Fine Gael. You could immediately tell Fine Gael you're not voting. You could do the same for Fianna Fáil and Sinn Féin. Stay at home. Unless there's a party like the National Party, the Irish Freedom Party, or some independent rural TDs that are going to stop this, then you will have to cringe. You'll have to cringe and go in with your pen and see their name and mark your ballot paper for them. If you can't bear to do that, you'll have to stay at home and don't vote at all. It's up to you, folks. I'm only telling you that. I know a lot of my viewers and a lot of people who subscribe to my channel are not into this or aghast at this. But the reaction to my last video shows that there's a lot of people, there are half the people in Ireland who would dispossess anyone with anything, redistribute the whole thing out, and they have no problem sharing it with the whole world. I'll tell you, you will not go over to Africa and take over the bishop's house or the religious leader there. You won't do it over there, the Amman or anyone else. You won't go to Saudi Arabia and take the houses off them there, and you certainly won't go to Oman, where I was and checked out and drank with the Arabs over there in discos and things where we could get in. I could give them a ticket and let them in, and we had good fun. But you will not go over and take over their place. On the other hand, in Arab countries, if you make a mistake on the road and you get out and you apologise or you touch somebody, as I reversed into a crowd of lads in the car, and I thought there was terrible trouble. You're from Ireland, great, it's all right. They're very accommodating that way. They do not look to minor things. They don't bother you about small stuff. And it's live and let live in a lot of ways. In many ways, there's something very endearing about that society. And I saw it and witnessed it now in Arabia, in Oman. I didn't see it elsewhere. I mean, in Dubai, you have an orangutan there called Rambo, a female orangutan, driving a golf cart around the place. Very, very entertaining. So I'm not knocking these people. I'm just saying they can come from anywhere. There's Pakistan, there's a whole lot of countries, and I know them. They're already in Britain. Britain's full of them. We know what they're like. We see what they're like. You go to a car dismantler, and they're there buying bits and pieces. So that's all right. Live and let live. But I don't believe they should be allowed to come here. I do not believe in mass migration. I do not believe in multiculturalism, but it's been foisted on me anyway. The British people voted Brexit, and it's been all taken from them, all robbed away, and that's the end of that. So I can say no more, folks, but just understand, if you voted in the past, you can't change it. You can change your future vote if that's what you want to do. I don't give two damns whether you do or not, but don't come whinging. Do not come whinging when it's happened. Oh, I can't stick this crowd. Oh, there's three gay men and they're smoking cannabis and the smell is terrible and they're smoking cigarettes and they've an old car out the back and they're up all night and I can't sleep in the house. That's the price you pay when you went in and voted for that idiot Leo Varadkar and voted for Coveney and Micheál Martin and all these creeps, and for Sinn Féin. That's what you have. You're not getting a united Ireland. The northern people, Catholic or Protestant, wouldn't come near us because we're going to be a crackpot state, and you're going to get more of this. That's what you deserve. I'll survive it some way. Some, my friends, will survive it, but our country will never be the same again. 900 years of history, hard fought, all taken away and all gone. That's my view. You put up with it. You want it. You want it. Send this round to your people who don't watch my channel. And I do want to emphasize, I'm not attacking those who support me. I mean, there's Russian bot there and some other man called John and so who have been supportive of my view for a long time. I'm not attacking you folks, but we have to be realistic. This is the reality. And I didn't even get round to the destruction of our country with old green junk and the taking of the cattle from the farmers. I didn't even get round to that yet. That is what you have. Dún Laoghaire, Stepaside, Enniscorthy, Wexford, Navan, Mullingar, Cork City, Limerick City, Galway City, all gone, all turned to African and Oriental, and all of that, people now relocating to our country until they bleed all that's in it dry, until the economy collapses, and then they'll do like an African man did the other day. He said he wouldn't stick Ireland anymore. He's heading off, but he's going to another EU country and he has an Irish passport so he can go there. So that's it, folks, on 14 minutes. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And I do not mind people commenting. I don't mind you communists, you woke people commenting. So we need to see what we are absolutely up against. I know what we're up against. I know how people think. And if you were born poor, you were born in a council house, the younger of the family, It was up to you to make your way, to get a job and get a mortgage and have your own place. There's nothing stopping people coming on. I know people who are out of families of 15 and they're able to buy huge properties over €1 million. This is the situation. You have to work. It won't come in on the door to you. The idea that then what you have and what you work for should be robbed off you and taken from you, while the elites and the big rich can get away with blue murder, is not what I believe is right. I don't think is right. But as I said, what I think is only of minor relevance. A thumbs up or a thumbs down. Goodbye. Thank you.